Hi, my name is Nicholas Cortez, and this is my final video for EDUC 526, the final capstone class for my Master's in Digital Teaching and Learning at Azusa Pacific University. My road to Azusa Pacific was not as direct as others. You see, I thought I had it all figured out. I went to college, got my degree, and went into a high-paying law enforcement career. Little did I know that life would catch up to me. Personal experiences led me to look into other careers. I knew in the back of my mind I wanted to teach and that this would make me happy. I resigned my position and began to substitute teach. However, when I landed in a classroom for students with disabilities, I knew that this was what I wanted to do. I began to look into schools and found that Azusa Pacific had a great education program and an online program that allowed me to continue working while I went to school. I originally signed up for the Master's in Special Education with a moderate to severe credential and continued on this path until I started my student teaching. This was when I realized how important technology in education is for all learners. In my class, I was witnessing students with severe disabilities access technologies that gave them more independence and allowed them to demonstrate their learning in their own ways. I soon changed my master's focus to the digital teaching and learning track, and I'm glad I did. The focus of this program has helped me immediately put technology components into my classroom that are helping my students thrive. In particular, EDUC 514 taught me how to create instructional videos with my learners' abilities in mind. In EDUC 522, I put together an entire technology-laced unit plan for my students that they will be able to access for years to come. From course offerings to professors to office support staff, my overall APU experience was excellent. I am glad I made APU my choice for my master's experience. EDUC 526 involved an action research project. For our projects, we were tasked with tackling a personal issue. I took this project on as a self-improvement project. Being a first-year teacher has taught me a lot about areas of improvement. I found that time management and communication are areas I needed to address with this project. Specifically, the issue I decided to tackle was a combination of being 5 to 10 minutes late each morning and reducing my feeling of unpreparedness for my day. I believe that I was late because I was checking my emails each morning before going to work. Thus, I developed the following research question. Will limiting the amount of emails I respond to each morning allow me to arrive to work on time and leave me feeling more organized? The implementation of my project consisted of me limiting myself to responding to only 3 emails each morning. I also developed 2 tables to record my data. Table 1 would record my feelings for the day. Table 2 would be how I would keep track of my morning. However, after 2 weeks of tracking my data, there were no differences. The only thing I noticed was that I was not getting out of bed at the time I said I was. So I changed my implementation. I would now keep my alarm clock in a place where I had to get out of bed to turn it off. The results of my project actually left me with more questions than answers. However, I do believe there were a couple of solid findings. First, the earlier to work I was, the more ready for work I was. And second, I gained 10 to 15 minutes each morning by moving my alarm clock. Although I still have many questions, my data allowed me 4 solid conclusions. First, the amount of emails I responded to had nothing to do with me being late to work. Second, getting up right at 5 and gaining 10 to 15 minutes did not make me early for work. Third, there are several other factors to consider during my morning routine that are making me late. And fourth, arriving 5 minutes or more to work each morning will increase my work readiness. My unit plan focuses on community science for students with moderate to severe disabilities. In my unit plan, I tried to focus on the needs of all learners by incorporating modern technology tools into what used to be pen and paper activities. The standards incorporated into this unit plan are a combination of Common Core language arts, with students focusing on understanding and using informational texts, Common Core math, where students focus on identifying and sorting different shapes, physical education, with students learning to use their bodies to effectively move, and the EDUC standards, where students learn technology, operation and concepts, and create projects using innovative products. My unit plan also incorporates Webb's depth of knowledge, with students going beyond the recall and skill levels to higher levels of critical thinking and applied learning. This is done by incorporating activities that demand critical thinking skills, reflection, and student ownership in their learning. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences is also interwoven into this unit plan in order to reach all student learning styles. There will be many ways for students to learn about community science during this unit. First, students will have the ability to view several multimedia presentations. These include a teacher-created instructional video, slideware, videos from web resources such as YouTube, and game-based learning in the Classroom Computer Learning Center. Second, because my students have disabilities, we will focus on technology accessibility. My students will learn to independently access technologies that they may not be used to, such as taking pictures and video with iPads or accessing apps. Another highlight of this unit is that students will have the opportunity to create and share with a variety of apps. For example, they will use a QR code reader to practice accessing an iPad to use its camera and video features. They will use Animoto to share pictures, and they will create a replica sign using the Roadside Magic app. A final highlight to this unit plan is that students practice their learning in both a simulated and real-life setting. First, students learn to cross the street inside the classroom. Next, they participate in a scavenger hunt on the school campus to simulate looking for signs. Finally, the class takes a walking field trip to the local donut shop to practice the skills they have learned. Students will be evaluated during this walking field trip and will share their pictures from the trip as a final culminating project. I chose this topic for my unit plan because I believe that skills like these are critical for students with disabilities and their futures. What this program has taught me is that there is no reason my students can't learn. There is some sort of technology that is engaging to each and every student. It is up to me to identify these things in my students. I now have several tools, resources, and contacts on how to scaffold technology for my students and how to make it accessible. I will continue to use technology with my students and give them the same opportunities as their peers.